Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Questionable Treatments. My name is Kim. I am joined unwillingly by my husband.
Ryan the Reluctant.
That's pretty good. I
Thank
like that
you.
name.
I just thought of that.
So today and next week we're going to be talking about a man who was thought to be somebody who created a miracle. Turns out he's just a con man.
As they often are.
Yeah. We are going outside of the U.S.
Well, lots of our killers have gone outside of the U.S. at some point.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not lots, but some.
Well, he was born outside the U.S. and
Okay.
stayed outside of the U.S. The reason I picked him is because he actually came to the U.S. and killed some people and then left back.
Not a type of tourism you usually hear about.
No, I don't claim him. So he says that he has no home country. He went to school all over the place, which we're going to find out in this episode.
Yeah.
So my first question for you, do you know much about stem cells?
Very little. I know that they're, from what I remember, they're like cells that can become anything, and they're most prevalent in fetuses. And I only know that because we have friends who during the ice bucket challenge refused to do it because they thought it was against their religion because they were killing babies to get stem cells. At least that's what our friend claimed, when stem cells are actually grown instead of harvested in any particular way.
Yeah, they can get stem cells from placentas, umbilical cords, and fetuses. It's not something. It's usually that they'll get it from. This is gonna sound terrible, but like abortion clinics.
Yeah,
They'll get fetuses.
I've heard that because they're not going to be able to use it for anything else. They can harvest some material.
Yeah, so it's already.
But
somebody
essentially,
who
they can be
discarded.
used for healing, right? Because they can kind of fill in for anything else.
Yes. So my second question: how do you think they would work if implanted into a person?
What do you mean implanted into a person?
So they do there's two known ways of how to use stem cells. They inject it intravenously and they implant it into, like they inject it into a body part. So like with me, they harvested my own stem cells. They scraped out my cartilage and then they injected the stem cells into the little holes underneath my kneecap, and it was supposed to grow cartilage. How do you think that works?
I think you implant it where the body needs to heal, and it heals.
Okay.
I don't know what answer you're looking. I'm assuming whatever I say will be wrong.
Well, you're not. You're partially wrong.
Yeah.
So the person we are going to be talking about has the same understanding of stem cells that you do, which is weird because that was his whole jam. That's the reason I'm asking you about it, is that was his whole jam. This person is Dr. Paolo.
Like Paulo?
Polo, yeah.
Okay.
P-A-O-L.
I was thinking like Paulo, like Apollo, not
No.
Paulo.
Polo.
Okay, gotcha.
Polo. Macchiarini? How do I say that?
I don't know.
It's Italian.
I've never seen it before, so I don't know.
Macchiarini?
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 I don't know.
Something like that. I'm going to assume, based on the fact that you have no idea how to say his name, you've never heard of this man.
No.
I've seen stuff about his case. I had no idea who the man was. I know that there was a doctor who did this stuff. I mean, there's Netflix shows and documentaries about him, but I didn't know who the actual person was. Let me tell you, I did not want to know. This man took desperate and sick people and used them as test subjects for a treatment that hasn't even gone through animal studies yet. So we're going to start off a little bit with his early life. Paulo was born in Basel, Switzerland on August 22nd of 1958.
Basil?
Basel?
Like the herb?
Yep.
Cool.
Probably where it was named after.
Yeah, probably.
This was after World War II when his parents fled Italy. They didn't like how that all went down. So they're like, peace. Growing up, Paulo knew he wanted to become a doctor and dreamed of being an astronaut for a month in 1969 when a man went to the moon for the first time.
Yeah.
Now we need to understand he had said many things about his early life, but we cannot take those as true because this man made lying a career.
Yeah, I know some people like that.
Yeah, I'm related to one of them. We are going to be stating facts where he went to school, then we are going to end up where our story truly begins. So right now we're going to be stating the facts that we know. They have been confirmed by the school and by stuff, but I'm also going to be putting in some stuff where he said that he did things that wasn't true. And one of them was in the U.S.
Okay.
The U.S. was like, I don't claim them. So The start of Paulo's medical career is at University of Pisa, where he got his medical degree in 1986, his Master of Surgery in 1999, or 1991. That's what I meant. One.
That's a big gap.
Yeah. And worked as an assistant professor from 1990 to 1992. Paolo has stated in many interviews he was overlooked for opportunities because his name was not well known, meaning he was not a child of someone in the government, rich, or a child of someone who worked at the school. Pretty typical.
Yeah.
Clearly that goes everywhere.
Right.
He stated it was the worst time of his life because his father got sick, and he's a doctor, so he looked over him, but found nothing wrong. Then about 6 months later, his father died. Now we are coming over to the U.S., where Paolo attended the University of Alabama at Birmingham in 1989. So he came over and then went back.
Okay.
This was for a 6-month fellowship in hematology and oncology, so the study of blood and cancer. When it was needed to make him look better to the media, he would state that he was there for 2 years for a thoracic surgery fellowship, which University of Alabama was like, no. Nope.
They're like, no, you weren't.
Yeah, they're like, huh, false. Now we fly for a while over to France. He attended University of Francois. I don't know. Franche. University of France. Comata. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Where Paolo got his master's in organ and tissue transplantation in 1994 and a doctorate in the same thing in 1997. We are taking a long drive to Germany to work for Hanover Hospital, where Paolo is the head of thoracic and vascular surgery department from 1999 to 2004. The hospital is affiliated with Hanover Medical School, meaning it's not actually part of the school, making him not a direct employee, even though he said he was a direct employee.
Right.
Now we're heading over to Spain, where Paolo was another affiliated employee with University of Barcelona, where he was the head of thoracic surgery and a case investigator from 2006 to 2009. Off to England, where Paolo was an honorary visiting professor at the University of London from 2009 to 2014.
That's a fairly long stint for him.
Yeah.
Although I guess the last two have been fairly long.
Now we are visiting the biggest and coldest European country. Any ideas? Russia.
Thought Russia was Asia, technically.
I thought it was European.
Oh, whatever.
Where Paolo was awarded an honorary doctorate in 2011 from Cuban State Medical University. So he's a professional student at this point.
Yeah.
On the second to last stop, but where I'm going to leave it for now, is Karolinska Institute in Switzerland. I can't say half these words, okay?
You should at least look them up.
I did look them up.
There's no pronunciation guide?
There was. I forgot them. Karolinska. We'll go with that. That sounds better. He started at this place in 2010, where he was appointed as a visiting professor. This is where the crimes we are going to talk about really started, from my understanding. This is a very confusing case, as he was like our last killer, where he was held down. He was not held down to one place. He went everywhere.
Right.
As you can tell.
Right.
What is different from Swango is he did it because he was requested to go to these different places.
Not just bouncing around,
Yeah.
trying to find somewhere that would accept him.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be talking about him today. I want everyone to understand stem cells and how they work. I didn't even really understand it. It's a really complex area of the medical field. It's something that we need to look for because it helps with, healing and regeneration of cells and tissues and stuff. But it's really confusing. So my understanding before this was you could take stem cells out of your bone marrow and inject it into any body part, and it would automatically become that tissue. That was my understanding before this.
Yeah, it seems like kind of the most basic interpretation.
That is the understanding in 1990s. It has grown from there.
Sure.
It is very different from that. So I'm going to start off with organ transplants because that's kind of what he started doing. He went to school, he got a master's in organ transplantation and a doctorate in it. Let's kind of understand what's going on here. So another question for you. Do you know what the main problem is for organ transplants?
Rejection?
Ding, ding, ding. Do you know what causes the rejection?
Incompatible blood types, maybe?
No, because they make sure that you're compatible. What fights diseases?
White blood cells?
Which is the...
Immune system?
There you go.
Oh.
The immune cells are supposed to travel around the body trying to detect cells that are not supposed to be there.
Ah.
So if they aren't your own, it's going to attack it. Which is why there's such a problem with women who have negative blood types and being pregnant.
I do remember talking about that a little bit with the doctor when
I
we
was
were
pregnant.
expecting.
Yeah.
I don't like that phrase, like when we were pregnant.
I mean, I was pregnant.
I
And
know.
went through the
I don't
hell.
like that. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, like, we're pregnant. It's like, no, we're not. Your wife is pregnant.
We're having a baby.
Right. We are having a baby. My wife is pregnant. Mm-hmm. Like, give her the... I don't share the credit. I didn't do any of that shit.
God, that was a horrible pregnancy.
The only bad part was I had to clean up the messes you would make.
I finally told my mom the whole story of the red Jell-O.
Yeah.
That was
Doesn't
awful.
need to be told on the podcast, but there was an incident involving a buffet, a Japanese buffet, a lot of like tapioca type pudding and red Jell-O, and then
I came home.
an
we
exorcist
came home.
vomited all over the bathroom. And
We came home. You made me very upset. I started crying so hard. I
how did I
threw
get
up.
upset? I don't remember that.
You told me to shut up when I was pregnant. You thought you were joking. Me did not.
Oh.
And I started crying super hard.
You know why I told you to shut up like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And it was a joke and it was okay?
Yeah. But I was pregnant.
Yeah.
Got to remember that. And I started crying super hard, which made me vomit red Jell-O all over the place.
Yep. Looked like Dexter killed somebody in there. All right, we
Yeah.
can move on.
Yeah, you were so
Horrifying.
sweet because you cleaned it up. But I remember you coming in and be like, "Did you throw up blood?" And I was like, "No." Okay, so these cells that are not supposed to be there, cancer cells, unrecognized cells, and foreign bodies. So illnesses, other people's cells, and foreign bodies. Mm-hmm. This is why patients who need an organ transplant are put on really strong immunosuppressants given through an IV while prep for surgery is happening. So you go into the hospital, you get your IV, immediately immunosuppressants before they even take the organ out of you.
Right.
And you're still having immunosuppressants pumped through you while the surgery is going on. They're just preparing your body to accept it. The strong immunosuppressants are still administered while in the hospital. Also, the patient is taking oral suppressants. Then the patient has to take the suppressants for the rest of their lives. This is not great for many reasons because the patient has a higher chance of getting severely ill and the medication is expensive. Paolo thought of a way to combat this. Have you heard of decellularization?
No.
Me neither.
Where they remove all your cells?
From an organ, yeah. I never heard of this.
Isn't an organ made of cells?
It's made of tissue, which is made up
tissue
of
made of
cells.
cells?
Well, but yeah, so they're taking cells out of the organ and leaving the structure. Very strange.
Yeah.
I am learning so much from this
Is this
podcast.
another organ minimalism thing?
No. This is a process of removing cells from an organ to make it viable for reseeding from the patient's stem cells.
Oh. Okay. I get it. You leave the structure of the organ, you transplant that. Then most of the organ becomes native to that person's body because you're using their stem cells to kind of reseed it.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Do you want to hear a short explanation of this process?
It doesn't work?
No, a short explanation of the decellularization.
Sure.
Okay. The organ is freeze-thawed several times over several days. So frozen for 24 hours,
Okay.
thawed for 24 hours, frozen, and then they do it like 4 or 5 times, somewhere around there. To break down the cells so it can be easier to flush them out because the ice crystals will rupture and cut the cell membranes. Then a pump and tube are hooked up to the vascular system to make pumping cleaning agents through the organ easier. Now the organ is prepared to be decellularized. That is such a hard word to say.
Decellularized.
Very strong chemical detergent is pumped through the organ, breaking down the fat oil layer around the cell, making it soluble in water, and getting rid of the cells. Now the organ is not the original color, but a ghost white. Pretty strange.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd want like a Westworld looking. You remember the intro for Westworld where they show them like making the body, but it's all
white.
just like white plastic, basically? Yeah.
That's basically what it looks like. It is strange because they showed a picture of a heart normal and then a heart after decellularization, and it is white. That I would be okay touching. The other one, not so much. Not so much. Then a DNA and RNA remover is pumped through, getting rid of all the immunogenic material, which will trigger an immune response. Last, the organ is flushed with a buffer solution to neutralize the detergents and make sure it is not in the organ anymore. So they don't want anything to, like, they don't want to put stuff that's toxic to you into your body, for starters. Right. Second, they don't want to try to reseed it and it doesn't work because they have all of these like detergents on there, which is going to break down the cells. This leaves behind a scaffolding, which is just like the makeup, the structure of collagen, elastin, and fibronectin. So that's the process. It's a really, really long, very tedious process, but it can be done. Now that the organ is decellularized, God, I can't say that word.
Decellularized.
There you go. Paolo will need to reseed the organ. He would use stem cells from bone marrow and soak the white organ in a stem cell soup, hoping it takes the cells from the patient. So he's hoping that all the cells will get into everything and become the organ.
We need like a cream soup for Halloween, and we'll call it stem cell soup.
Heck yeah.
We'll take that.
You need to 3D print me a white
heart.
A white heart, and we'll do that.
Put it in the middle of it.
This is a smart problem, but there's a few. This is a smart process, but there are a few problems. Can you think of one?
They've removed so much of the material that the stem cells wouldn't be able to do anything?
No.
Okay, then no.
What do you think cells need to grow?
Electrolytes.
Kind of.
Like Powerade.
Yeah, sure. The organ needs to be hooked up to the vascular system somehow, whether it be the pump that they used or in the body, but it needs to be hooked up.
It needs blood flow.
It needs nutrients, blood, and oxygen flowing through it. This helps the cells take to the organ they decelled and start growing and forming into the cells that they want it to be. 2, this is something I did not know. This is new to me. There needs to be a chemical trigger sent to the stem cells to make them grow into the thing you are wanting them to go into. So that is produced by the body. So when a body part is damaged, there is a chemical sent from some part of the body that triggers the stem cells already in the organ to grow and replace the damaged parts. So that's basically like if you get a skin tear, that's stem cells working. If you get a laceration and it's sewn, that's stem cells. Your body's sending a message chemically to the stem cells and they start reproducing and growing into the thing that you need it to be. Yep, like on your finger. Cut many scars. Mine turn white. Mine don't go back to the original color. All my scars are ghost white, like the heart. Okay, so you may be wondering, Kim, why is this not replacing the damaged organ like hearts and livers and kidneys, you ask? Good question. I don't know. I don't know. I did just enough research for me to understand what Paolo did and why it didn't work. I'm assuming it's because there's so much damage with like the heart, the lungs, and all of that the stem cells and the body's natural production of everything just could not keep up.
Yeah.
And
it's too much to like rebuild a heart almost from scratch.
Yeah, which is why you need a heart transplant.
Right.
But it's also just like...
So far this sounds like a good idea that didn't work.
Yes.
Which is not a problem, but I'm guessing he did some stuff that was a problem anyway.
Yeah.
Or he went postal.
He did some stuff. Also, when a tissue dies, then it is usually it for the tissue, whether stem cells are introduced or not. You cannot bring something back to life that is already dead.
So a heart that has been through like, what did you say, like 7 freeze-thaw cycles?
Yeah.
Probably not viable.
Probably not viable. But you're left with the structure.
Right.
And if you introduce stem cells, this is something that they're actively researching because this would be so much better.
They're still working on something like this.
Yeah, they're actively doing research and animal studies.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how to like instruct stem cells on what to be, like send that signal.
Oh, right? They know how to do that. They're trying to figure out how to get the stem cells from the person because that's something else that we're going to go into. They're trying to figure out how to get the stem cells from the person, how to, outside of the body, get that chemical trigger for it to grow onto the heart structure.
Yeah.
And then to be able to be placed into the body. So this is going to take months for it to grow into muscles and ligaments and cartilage and all of that stuff.
So trying to figure out a way to grow organs.
Yes.
But an organ meant for you.
Yes. Yep. So, sorry. There's a third problem. That's 2. 3. Third problem. Stem cells will turn into what is programmed. So that makes
What is
no sense.
program?
So a stem cell
But
is
then
already...
who was program?
So a stem cell already has a program installed for it. So each
Is it Minecraft?
organ has its own programming. And there's stem cells within that organ. So if you take stem cells from the heart, it's programmed to turn into a heart.
Yeah.
If you take stem cells from bone marrow,
Right, that's...
it's supposed to turn into cartilage, bone, and red blood cells.
Yeah, that's why stem cells that are grown, like from samples originally taken from fetuses and whatever, are the best, right? Because they can become anything. Because they're growing a whole person.
Become literally anything. Yes. So if you inject bone stem cells into a damaged organ,
You grow a bone organ.
nothing happens.
I like my version better.
That's what I thought too.
You just have a random femur in your liver.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we mixed up the vials of stem cells.
So nothing happens because...
It's the same kind of logic, like if you put Rogaine in your hands and then rub it on your head, then your hands get hairy if you forget to wash them.
That'd be kind of fun. That'd be good.
That's some Looney Tunes logic.
Okay, so everything that I have just told you, why do you think nothing will happen with the bone marrow stem cells if you inject it, let's say, into a heart?
Because it's not meant to grow a heart.
That's one. That's
Because
one.
there's no blood flow
No,
and the
there's blood
tissue's
flow.
dead.
No, because the tissue's not dead. You're trying to fix the heart. The heart has some damage
Oh,
from a heart
not
attack.
a heart. A heart that's already in place.
Yes.
I don't know.
There's another reason, and it was my second reason as to why this won't work. Chemical triggers.
Yeah, they don't know how to send the signal.
It's sending a signal to the stem cells for the heart stem cells.
Right, not for the bone ones.
Yes. So nothing's going to happen.
So you got stem cells taken from your bone and put in to regrow
Cartilage.
which is bone adjacent.
Yes. Yeah. So that works. Having heart stem cells taken and injected into my knee would have done nothing. Nothing at all. I hope I conveyed this well.
Yeah.
Because this is what this sounds like to me.
I'm retarded. That's the problem with me. Anybody listening to this is following perfectly.
I'm sure. This is a very confusing topic, and it's very, very interesting. I don't want to play with dead organs, otherwise I would want to be part of this, you know? I would want to be part of this research because it's just super, super interesting. They have now found a way to take stem cells that are originally brain stem cells and like fetus stem cells and inject it into the brain and fix damage from like Alzheimer's and dementia. And like damage from strokes and stuff.
Yeah, I know this is probably along the lines of the same. Like I've seen these articles where doctors are starting to treat aging as a disease.
Yeah.
And stem cells might be the way to kind of reverse that.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I was watching an episode of DS9, 30 years old. And there's this random guy. It's a B plot in the show. The kids are trying to get like this baseball card, but this random dude bought it at auction along with a lot of other stuff. And they're trying to get it from him, and they find out that he's kind of this like whack job who's researching immortality.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you from I forget what he called it, like the oppressive orthodoxy or whatever, like talking about that people are out to get him because they don't want him to find this immortality research." And his theory is that he's like, what would you do if you did the same job every day? You get bored. That's what happens to your cells. Your cells get bored. So he builds a cellular entertainment chamber, and he gets out at one point and he's like, mildly entertained. It's like last 4 hours was kind of boring though. I mean, it's totally a joke, but it's, I mean, I've heard people say, and people say a lot of things, like it's hard to trust anything anymore because so much of the news, they just report what CEOs say. Like they say, you know, I mean, Sam Altman early on said, we're not making revenue. We don't know how to make revenue. We're going to wait until the AI becomes generally intelligent and then ask it. What? Like he literally said that in you can find that clip online. So and Elon Musk like started selling the next Tesla Roadster in like 2017 and never shipped any of them.
Yeah.
Like there's all kinds of stuff that just never happens. But I do kind of buy this, that people are researching the stuff like you're talking about and reversing these effects and like reducing plaque in the brain and whatever. And I saw this It was probably taken out of context, but this article quoted a line where somebody said the first person to live to 1,000 years old is probably alive today. Like, there's a good chance that people alive today could live 10 times longer than they used to.
Yeah, which would drop our population a whole lot.
Why?
Because people would not be having as many kids.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Which, going back to sci-fi, is another problem.
But do you just think of that? Just think of that, because we have billionaires. Billionaires don't want modern day people to become billionaires. So now you're a working class person who's broke, and you're gonna live 1,000 years broke. Kill me now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I would love to live 1,000 years so that way I can go to my great grandchildren and be like, back in my day.
Dude, I am the perfect age to live 1,000 years. I'll be like, I lived 970 years or 990 years, whatever, before computers were mainstream, before, like 980 years before cell phones and smartphones.
Yeah.
I'd have a toe in the old world.
But yeah.
Like, that's why my generation is so strange.
Yeah.
Because we have a toe in the old world, but we grew up during like all this revolution.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's part of my emails that I've been sending to Rose, for that account that I'm going to unlock.
Back in my day.
Well, just like, every once in a while, I'll just take a picture of stuff. I'm like, here's what the computer I'm using right now looks like. Here's what this looks like. What does this stuff look like in the future?
Yeah.
Like, what do cars look like in the future? Like, and I took a picture, like, here's what a gigabyte of storage looked like when I was your age. It's like this giant cylinder of spinning magnetic platters. Like, here's what a gigabyte of storage looks like now, and it's like a little tiny micro SD card. But it's like, actually, that's like 128 gigabytes.
Yeah. But if you're part of, stem cell research, hit me up. I would actually very much enjoy being part of this.
Yeah, this makes sense, because the last regeneration experiment I really knew about was the lizard from Spider-Man.
Yep.
He lost an arm, and he was like, lizards can regenerate limbs. Let's put lizard DNA in me. And then he turns into a lizard.
Yes, but...
Doc Connors, that was his name. Anyway.
But this is basically all that I have for this episode.
That's it? Just the setup?
Just the setup. Because I'll give you a little snippet. What Paolo is known for is 3D printing trachea and the bronchial branch. So your trachea goes down and it branches off into two for your left and your right lung.
Yeah.
And he made those, 3D printed them to be hollow, drizzled some stem cell soup on it, and was like, let's put it in the body.
Put it in.
Put it in.
Slap this bad boy in there.
And it killed people.
Oh.
So we're going to go into a lot more about that.
So are there not animal trials or human trials on this stuff?
No.
Oh.
No.
How does that happen?
He did it without anybody's knowledge.
He was just like, what?
Yeah.
He was using like a Prusa Mark III like me and printing this shit at home?
No,
and then
he charted that he did a completely different surgery. We're going to get into it the next episode, but basically he lied to the patient, he lied to the ethics committee, and he lied to the doctors that were treating him.
How was he 3D printing this stuff?
It's a 3D printer. How do you think?
What does that mean?
He was taking...
I'm saying, is it like a Prusa like mine downstairs? Or is it like, I would assume, some kind of medical thing with something that's meant to be implanted in the body? Or is it a polylactic acid plastic?
It's an FDA-approved plastic that is approved to,
be used for implants.
Be used for...
So
I don't know. It's not implants because it broke down. It would break down.
Then it's probably PLA.
Yeah, but it was like food safe. It was like FDA safe.
Yeah, you can get PLA that's food safe, but it's biodegradable.
Yeah. So I said more than I probably should have this next episode. Okay. But now this is what he did. This is
disappointingly short.
Yeah.
I was ready to get into some shit.
We're definitely getting into some shit next time because we're going into his first couple patients and then we're getting into his time at his last university.
Okay. But so far, his history's
all over the place.
But kind of normal. Like, there's nothing to suggest that anything's wrong. He's going to all these different places. He's got a diverse background. He's earning, like, degrees, honorary or otherwise, in all these different universities. He's traveling the world and teaching and, seems like somebody who you'd want on... Like, you'd want them on your staff website for your hospital or whatever.
Yes.
You'd want their name.
Somebody you want teaching other people.
List of credentials.
Yeah. So he was super famous for being a miracle man.
What are his other miracles? Or just how good he was at what he did?
Just for finding a way to transplant a trachea, because that's the one organ that we cannot transplant.
Okay, so he found is his transplant the 3D printed thing, or was he actually transplanting them? So he was famous for doing the thing that killed people.
Well, the whole reason we talked about stem cells and decellularization is because that's how he started.
Okay.
And then he's like, took too long, so I 3D printed it instead. Yeah, we're gonna get more into all of that later when, we do the next episode. The next episode is probably gonna be a lot longer. I'm trying to find a way to make this all very understandable so that a common person would be able to understand what I'm talking about. Like half the shit, I don't even know what's going on. I'm constantly being like, okay, why does that work and not this? Why this? Why that? I feel like I should be a doctor by the end of this because I know so much now. I worked with an ER doctor. Oh my God. We had a patient come in. He was older. I took his blood pressure and his blood pressure was super fucking high. It was below 200, but it was getting there. And his pulse rate was really low. And I went to the doctor and I told him, and he goes, so he's awake. He's coherent. He's fine. Is this not concerning to you? I'm freaked out. Like, this guy needs some medicine. Well, then I take his blood pressure again because we're supposed to take 2. This was like 10 minutes later, and his blood pressure, same. Heart rate, lower. And I'm like, this guy is going to die. And he goes, I don't know what you want me to do. I want you to send him to the hospital. That's what I want you to do. I want you to be like, bro, you have some serious shit going on. You should go to the ER. But he goes, he's coherent. He's fine. Is it just me? Am I the only one freaked out?
Yeah.
But then I talked to a couple of
MPs. He's an ER
MPs.
doc. He's like, he hasn't been shot. He's fine.
I talked to a couple of MPs after that, and they're like, seriously? He did that? And I go, oh, yeah, that's what I fucking thought. I was astounded. I also understand what slough is.
Slough?
Yeah, SLOUGH, slough, which is just dead skin over a wound that needs to be debrided. It smells absolutely horrible. Yeah, I looked at that.
Why are you telling me about this?
Because I'm telling you how crazy fucking doctors are. Yeah, I should be a doctor after all of this. But I ain't crazy enough for that bullshit. Because I was like, I think he needs to go to the ER. And he goes, yeah, he just needs some wet to dry.
Some wet to dry?
Wet. They're called wet dry bandages.
Oh.
You put them on wet. 12 hours later, you take them off dry, and it rips all that dead skin off. I go, oh, cool. He's fine because his blood pressure, his pulse, and the fact that he has a giant infection in his leg is telling me he's not fine. And he goes, it's just slough. It's fine. I'm like, am I the only one worried about this man?
Gross. Your job is gross.
I also had to play with poop.
I know you. Shut up.
Shut I up. Almost threw up for that
Shut
one.
up. Don't throw up.
I almost did.
I know. Oh, God. I know you said that you couldn't do my job, but Jesus, I could not do yours.
It was.
I think I could be a doctor.
Yeah, because
doctors
all the medical
don't do
assistants.
Any of the actual work for the most part.
Yeah, you come in, you're like, oh, I'm smart. And then you fucking leave, and all the nurses and the MAs got to do everything else.
Right. You come in, you're like, oh yeah, do this thing that you probably already knew to do.
Yeah, I could be a doctor. I am smart enough to be a doctor. I don't want that responsibility.
You also can't pronounce any names.
They can't pronounce any names either. Jesus, you're trying to make me feel bad. They're just as dumb.
Okay, so that's it.
That's it for this. You got a whole lot more than what you bargained for, but
well, then we'll see you next time because we haven't even really given you the questionable treatments yet.
Well, kind of.
Well, we told you what the treatment is, just
not why it's
and what's questionable about it, but not what really happened.
Yeah, not how he killed people.
Yeah, it's usually what we get into, like what they did wrong and how they got caught.
Yeah, but this next one we're gonna go into what they did wrong and how they got caught.
All right, join us next time. It'll be super exciting. Kim will hopefully not tell us more stories about her own work.
Yeah, it's most of the time I enjoy my work. I love my job until I hate my job.
Okay, bye.
Keep it questionable.